editors of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studio on the ones and twos, our illustrious engineer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
Joining us from Nashville, Tennessee, Tyler Huckabee.
Hey, everybody.
And just down the road there in Nashville, author, speaker, podcaster, cowgirl extraordinaire,
Yes.
Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, gents. Let's do this. It's another week. Let's go. I'm so motivated.
Annie, your sweater is you have a very fuzzy sweater.
I do.
It's very
Thank
cool.
you for noticing.
I like it a lot.
I know we have a lot to get to. You know, maybe introduce the show. Then I have a question I want to throw to the cast that I should have asked last week that I didn't. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, coming up later, we have author John Pavlovitz joining us. He has a new book out called Hope and Other Superpowers. It's not about comic books.
And sadly, it's not.
Uninterested.
Yeah, I was about to say that's why Tyler's here.
He's an interesting cat. His blogs about faith have been like retweeted by Katy Perry, and she's a big fan of his writing. He's also responsible for one of the most read articles on RelevantMagazine.com of all time. It's got like 4 million page views or something.
Oh, wow.
Interesting guy.
What was that one?
What
was that article?
Let me look up the exact name, but it was about understanding the context of like the Bible, like how the Bible came together. I'll find out the name. Let me Google it real quick.
So just a real short, easy read.
Understanding the Bible.
Understand how the Bible came together.
Snooze alert.
One of those 2-minute reads.
He writes books that aren't about superheroes and articles about the Bible.
Boring.
Can't wait.
Sorry, Annie. Only 3 million other people really liked it. So,
Hey, Tyler, I know you're a superhero guy. I'm not at all. At all.
Right.
At all.
At all. Like I don't like if a movie is 90% CG or it looks like a video game, I'm just not interested. I don't like having to suspend logic and stuff like that. But I will say this, Tyler. I took my son over the Christmas break to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it was one of my favorite movies of all time. It was the coolest, funnest. It's so amazing.
Wow. I was astonished. I couldn't believe what
I was
watching.
astonished as well. I mean, the soundtrack was perfect. The animation style was perfect. It was cool. It was like just fresh. It was just like a fresh take. It was amazing. It was so good. And Cohen, of course, is obsessed.
I think it might be my favorite movie of the year. I think it might be my movie of 2018.
I mean, the name a more groundbreaking one.
Top three at the very least.
Well, that's saying a lot when Greatest Showman released in 2018. I'll just say that is really saying a lot.
I mean, just from a groundbreaking standpoint, the writing, the originality of the animation style, the music, just the take on the whole franchise, I just thought it was refreshing. It was just fun. It didn't lag at all.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that. And I know that I think it's a really good movie for people like you who don't really care about comic book superheroes generally. I think it's because I hear that a lot. It's like, it's a very,
that's what you said to me as well about Black Panther. It's a great, entry level. If you don't love...
You don't need to know. You don't need to come in knowing a lot about the lore, haven't seen other Spider-Man movies or the Tobey Maguire ones even. You can just sit down and enjoy it.
And then I got the bug, and now I'm a Marvel fan.
Andy's one of my big converts.
Yeah, really. I just watched Civil War. I meant to text you, Tyler. I watched Civil War. What's it called? Avengers Civil War. With some of my friends over...
the Captain America, the third Captain America one. Yeah.
With some of my friends over the break, and I loved it. Of course I did.
It's great, isn't it?
It's great. I'm quite the convert.
I apologize, guys. I was dozing off while you guys were talking about superhero stuff, and I found the story about the Bible that got 5 million page views. 5 things I wish Christians would admit about the Bible. He's also written for us Confessions of a Recovering Christian Know-It-All. And Christians shouldn't try to scare the hell out of people, among other provocatively titled articles.
John Pavlovitz, everybody.
Yeah, he's brought it. He's brought it for the site for years. So,
Jesse, you need to do yourself a favor and go see Into the Spider-Verse. It honestly, you'll love it.
I asked my 5-year-old son, because it's in the office, and Clark, our very own video and audio wizard, Clark, he was telling me, he took his 4-year-old. So I asked my son, I was like, hey, you want to go see Into the Spider-Verse? And he goes, no, Dad, that looks way too scary. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to go by myself. He didn't want to go. He want to go.
That's really
You can tell. No,
cute.
I took my 4-year-old nephew over the Christmas break. I was in Cincinnati, and he had this like Spider-Man mask, like this that he wore in, and he like had it over his head the entire time, like sitting on top of his head.
That's
and
adorable.
then during the big action scene, when Spider-Man suits up, he like slowly pulled it down over his
nice.
face. It was
There
very
we go.
sweet. It was a very sweet moment, and he didn't seem too scared. I was more scared than he was.
Hey, so I have a question for you guys before we jump
Okay, I'm
into
ready.
the show today, because I know we got a lot to get to. We got a listener of the week and all that jazz coming up. Hey, so I'm curious. We were talking before we started. Tyler got AirPods and his favorite gift of the year. What is the favorite thing you guys got for Christmas this year? Cameron, I'm assuming it's the socks with Annie's face on them.
Yeah, of course it is. Everyone's going to say that. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, Annie's socks were clearly at the top of the
Thank
list.
you so much. Did you at least put them on your feet? Are they comfortable?
So I'm looking forward to him.
You didn't even put them on your feet. You are a monster of a
Oh, wow.
friend. I
got
spent
them
my
after-
hard-earned
Handed.
money that I worked all year. I took a very small vacation this year so that I could buy gifts for my friends, and you don't even put the socks on your feet?
I framed them. Like
Oh.
I have all my famous
Lying
sports
doesn't get you
mementos.
anywhere in this story. This is heartbreaking.
I want to keep them pristine for resale value. I
Oh
mean,
my
eBay
gosh.
stocks,
Dead stock.
eBay, dead stock.
true.
Tyler got AirPods, and I literally have
I
not
like
seen them. Tyler and I are constantly talking to each other. I have not seen them outside of his ears one time. Like,
love
I'm
them so
convinced
much.
they're just stuck in there.
I got him surgically grafted, so I can't take him out. I love him that much. I don't
Tyler
want
and
to
I
be
have
without him anywhere I go.
talked probably 24 times since Christmas Day, and every time he goes, "Dude, these AirPods game changer." Every time, you know how when a YouTube videos, like a YouTube blog or like an Instagram story, starts with "Hey guys," like every
Yeah.
Instagram story or
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
blog. Tyler starts
Hey guys,
every
it's your pal.
Tyler starts every conversation with, "Hey man, listen, these AirPods are a game changer." Tyler, that's not why I called, and I'm aware how much they've changed the game for you. Annie, what was
You
your
don't have
favorite
any
thing you
cords
got?
messing around either.
I got, it's not arrived yet, but I was given a record player, which is really exciting.
Oh,
'cause
that's awesome.
I know. I've wanted
Well,
one
that's a great
for
gift.
quite a while.
All right, we need to talk offline about that because I need to know more specifics. Because if it's an entry level one, I'm going to have to upgrade you. 'Cause,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Who gave you this gift?
Well, luckily for all of us, my parents, it's the gift from the parents, and they said, pick out what you want. So Cameron, you can just boss me around.
oh, for real, you haven't gotten it yet. You haven't
you haven't
picked it
even
yet.
picked the record.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, I have 2 records. Guess what band I have 2 records of? Everybody knows.
Florida Georgia Line.
Mumford and
You're a
Sons.
monster. Part 2. 2 times today, you've been the worst person I've ever known. Okay, someone else. Mumford and Sons, obviously.
You can
Mumford and
say
Sons.
Mumford and Sons,
Son
obviously.
and the complete Dave Matthews collection.
One of the big projects I did over the Christmas break was
Chandler, don't give him that.
I finally unpacked all my vinyl. Like I have a lot of vinyl I've been collecting for years. But then last year when I was transitioning homes, sadly, one of my friends' elderly father passed away, and he, for his entire life, had collected vinyl, and he had a collection of like 1,300 albums of like vintage jazz and stuff from the 40s, 50s, 60s. And I was able to acquire all of his collection. And so I've been
my
going
gosh.
through his discography, and it's just knowing like the intentionality he had in putting this together and stuff is just so meaningful, honestly, to inherit this stuff and add to my own. So like all my stuff, like I had some jazz stuff, but all my stuff was new albums, and indie albums, stuff like that. And then to kind of go and like have it, I don't even know how to organize all this. I mean, it's like, do I go by genre? Do I go alphabetical? Do I go by decade? Like there's so many albums in my house.
What did you decide?
Well, right now I just literally put them on the shelf, and now I'm thinking about like, how do I catalog
Yeah.
all this? Because there's some real gems in there, and like when you have that many albums, it's just. I'm telling you, Annie, but I can help you figure out a good quality sound
Yes.
experience for
I'm gonna let you.
for a low budget. I mean, like there's
Yes,
a
yes,
way to enter in, but you don't go one of those Crosley all-in-one that they look like a suitcase or something. Like, don't do those. Don't
Okay.
do the. Let's get you a real one and a good needle, and it'll be
Okay,
great.
even though twice today you've been the worst person I've ever known, I will absolutely let you boss this around for me.
I really
So,
enjoy it. I mean, there's something about like I have a room set up in my home where like I have the big nice, the good speakers, and like I sit down and I dim the lights and I put on an album, and there's just something completely therapeutic about that. Like, I'm happy for you that you're doing this.
Do you do it in the summer as well? All my friends tend to treat their record players like a winter activity.
And to me, it's year round. Like I actually, for Christmas, I got some of those Sonos speakers from my mom and dad.
Yeah,
and
they're slick.
And I got a thing that can connect to my record player that will then broadcast the analog to the whole house sound system.
That's cool.
So I can play vinyl like while I'm in the kitchen cooking or stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that.
Hold on. Did you say that your dad got that for you?
My mom and dad, got me.
Okay, I want to hear this though. I want to hear this because we might have some family tension here. Chandler, Cameron got sweet, objectively awesome speakers for his home that sound awesome. Chandler, what did you and your mom and dad get you? Please tell me it was another copy of your father's book. What did you get? What did you get? Let's air this out right now.
I got a printer.
What? Like a 3D printer or just like a basic printer?
Just like a plain old printer.
One of those $30 Office Depot specials.
Hold on. So Cameron,
Wait.
Hold on. Cameron, let's unpack this for a minute. Cameron's gift is thoughtful on multiple levels. Not only is he's been renovating a home that could really benefit from the sound system. Not only does his profession, obligate him to listen to music in high fidelity and have a sonic experience to fully appreciate it. He also is a connoisseur of record labels. It could not have been a more thoughtful gift. Like literally they thought through everything and it was the most meaningful thing. Chandler, what was when you opened the printer, when you opened the box with
did this happen at the same time?
Listen, you see Cameron open a high-end, unbelievably
Beautiful.
awesome sound system. Perfect for his home, perfect for his interest. And then
Jesse,
it's like, and you're like, you got your box. You got your box, and you're like, oh, dude, I can't wait, man. They're thinking of me. Like, I'm a DJ. I literally play music for a living. What cool thing are you going to get me? And you're like, oh, it's a printer in case I need to print something. What was the logic?
Were you happy, Chandler? Did you ask for a printer?
What's the logic?
Yeah,
What's the logic?
When's the last time you've
I didn't
printed
need anything
something?
else. It was a practical thing to get. So yeah,
I may have told this before, but like one of the most disappointing Christmas gifts I've ever witnessed being opened was young. It was all the cousins, everyone's together for Christmas Eve. That's what we do. And our grandparents, that's when they give, growing up would give us our gift. And my cousin really wanted like a keyboard, like to play music, and sure enough, they passed around all the gifts. All the other cousins wanted starter jacket. It was the starter jacket year for all of us. So we open our gifts, starter jacket, sweet, awesome pullover, NBA starter jacket. Cameron, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course.
I had a magic one.
Yeah. I did too.
All the dudes did. It was an attractive commodity on a middle school boy. I'll tell you what.
We had one cousin that was like, I'm not going to go starter jacket. I want the keyboard. If they're ponying up because those starter jackets weren't cheap, then I think that they owe me at least the keyboard that I'm asking for. So sure enough, they passed around the gifts. His is a long, like rectangular box, exactly like what you would think a keyboard in. It is wrapped with a bow on it. Okay. It's wrapped with a bow on it. And he sets the box on his lap and starts playing it as if it's a keyboard. Like, granted, he hasn't opened it, but he knows it's that keyboard. He is mime playing the wrapped box for the family.
Right. Because there's a keyboard in there for sure.
My grandparents are like, hey, listen, don't be disappointed. Seriously. He's like, okay, I won't. And he's like playing. They're like, no, seriously, don't be disappointed. He opens it up. It is a hockey net. None of us play hockey. We have never played hockey. It is literally like a PVC pipe hockey net.
Like you would set up in your backyard, for a backyard
not big enough,
situation.
not big enough to be a soccer net. It was a hockey net. What? We don't have an ice skating rink near us.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. What was their reasoning?
I don't think I honestly think they forgot about the keyboard thing. And on the way to Christmas Eve, they were like counting starter jackets. They're like, we're missing one. I don't know who, but let's just go get the hockey net, And so,
oh, wow.
That's really sad.
That's awful.
Yeah. So, but Chandler, that's probably how I felt with the printer.
Can you think of a most disappointing Christmas present that you've received? I can't.
Most disappointing. I can't either.
I thought of a great gift this year, and I wish I had done it. I thought about it.
I did too. You just haven't gotten them yet.
Socks with your face on it.
Yeah. No, you know what I'm going to do? You guys remember this? I think this would be the coolest gift, and I hope someone gives it to me. It's going to be incredible. Here's what my gift is. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar with the long-running reality show Storage Wars, where you go to these storage units.
Yes.
Like, there's like people who are delinquent on their storage unit fees, and sight unseen, you can auction them off, and whatever is in there is now yours. You have to get it out, but it's now yours. I want to go to a storage unit auction, bid on one, sight unseen, and the recipient of my Christmas present opens a box, and there's just a key to a padlock on there, and I tell them, you are the proud owner of a delinquent storage unit. The contents are yours. The contents are yours. It's a great mystery that they get. I gave them a mystery to solve on Christmas. I think it's a fantastic gift. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give a lot of people padlock keys next year.
You don't need to put me on your Christmas list, Jesse.
Hey, Tyler, here is a key to a delinquent storage unit. By the way, you have 12 days to get everything out of there, or the payments will go to you. So, Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas,
you kind of
man.
give somebody a chore, like, here, clean this out.
It's a
Merry
ton
Christmas.
of work. That's the thing I never got about those. I mean, the payoff versus the manual labor.
Also, you have to have a thrift store or something to put the stuff
Right.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like not worth it
It
when
could
I
be-
watch Storage Wars.
It could be a pirate's chest in there. It could be, priceless baseball card.
On the off chance that there's like something valuable
Sure,
in
it
there.
could be a bunch of dirty junk from a hoarder. But you also have it could be an old classic hot rod sitting under a bed sheet in there. You just don't know.
All right, well, moving the show along, it is time for
Slices.
All right, what do you have, Jesse?
All right, I have a story of a long con, and one person in this story is obviously the awesome hero. The other one is obviously the petty villain. I will let you determine who is who. The story is about Janine Clement. She holds the world title as the oldest person in the world. She's from France. She died in 1997 at the age of 122 years old. Up until the end, at 122, she's doing interviews. She's completely lucid. She had no signs of dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that. She's doing interviews. She's in the Guinness World Record, like posing. She's, very candid, and she's making jokes about it. She's like, I guess God forgot about me. Like, she's got material. She's got world's oldest person material. Okay, so
she had time. She had a type 5.
She had a type 5. Listen, the woman has type 5. It's like those great stories. You're like, well, what's the secret of longevity? And he's like, oh, I eat cigarette butts and drink whiskey and raw bacon every morning. It's like, oh, this what a charming story. Like, great. The world's oldest for 122. Wow, can you imagine? So she died in 1997. Well, recently, a mathematician and member of the Society of Naturalists of Moscow University, just that. He tells me he's one of those boring, petty people ever. Okay, he's a mathematician.
Yeah.
And it's part of something called the Society
I
of
hate
Naturalists.
when you talk unkindly about Russia. It always makes me scared.
Yeah, well, I'm already persona non grata there. They've me and Snowden. We've got to steer clear. Okay, so he recently published a study called Janine Clement: The Secret to Longevity. All right. So this is a mathematician who was so fascinated 2 decades after this woman has died and captivated the world with her elderly charm. He wants to blow the lid off and figure out what the secret was. Do you know what he determined based on his calculations and his research that the secret to becoming the world's oldest woman was? Any guesses?
What? A lot of sleep.
Tyler?
A healthy diet.
No, it's not a healthy diet because that's the craziest thing about usually the stories.
They always say it's like
I have
beer
bacon and
donuts
Coke
or
every day.
something.
Yeah. A loving family.
Here's what
very
this
sweet.
stick in the mud mathematician determined. she was lying.
What?
So
What?
This guy,
She
this
wasn't 122.
This guy claims that
Oh my God, I
he's
love this
found
so much.
evidence that, like, back in the 30s, she presumed the identity of her mother to skirt inheritance taxes. So when her mother died, I guess she figured out a way to, like, get the identity so she didn't have to pay taxes on getting her inheritance.
This is amazing.
So she presumes this identity.
Assumes. Not presumes.
Assumes this identity of her mother. And so she just gets like stuck in this lie her whole life. So for years it goes by, it's no big deal. You know, when she cracks 90, then 100, then like 110, and people start calling her up and being like, hey, you're like the oldest person in the world. She's not going to walk it back now. She's been lying about this. She didn't want to pay that inheritance
That's
tax.
wild.
So she just owns it. Like, this woman just totally owns it. Like, has the 122-year-old stand-up material, poses for pictures in the Guinness World Records, gives all these interviews, and so she just owns the lie up until the very end. Which, one, I think, hey, if you're in, you're in. All you're doing is inspiring people at this point. Like, hey, look, I can live to 122 and you know, be lucid and happy. Now there are people
that is crazy.
There are people like the people that confirmed at Guinness World Records. They are saying this mathematician must be wrong. There can't be any way that someone will be able to live a lie that lie. This is how far this sicko mathematician, this is how petty this loser is. I'm sorry for the strong words. Why he cares about this is beyond me. Like, this is someone who like measures the guy's longest fingernails just to make sure, even those curly, gross one that they keep in the velvet bags and pull out for the. This is a guy that cares about this. For some reason, he's demanding that the bodies of this woman and her family are exhumed so that he can have like genetic proof that she's lying.
Oh my gosh.
Holy smokes.
How embarrassing to be exhumed because you lied. That's so embarrassing
Listen,
for her.
Can't we live in a world where someone's just able to get away with a harmless lie that just inspires people and is awesome?
It's a great story.
It's a great story. Who cares if it's not true? You know?
What's more impressive, living to 122 or making everybody think
Thank
that you
you.
like such a like having such a airtight ruse?
Here, that's the thing. She either holds 1 or 2 world records. 1 being the oldest person ever, or 2 the sweetest
longest lie
of all time.
Seriously.
Like, you win, lady. You were not only did you pull off the lie, you pulled it off for like 100 years. Like, good on you. You know,
That's crazy.
Talk about the least likely suspect. Who's going to accuse a sweet old lady
who's
of,
hilarious,
carrying
by the way.
who has great material, who's a great comedian, who's going to accuse her of like running a long con like this?
And what
Gotta
was
keep
the
your eyes on
payoff?
them.
Was she thinking like, I know once I crack
There's a cash
120, I will be in pay dirt. Finally, this
Right.
long con will pay off. Finally, 100 years from when I start, or, you know, she died in 99. So 80 years from when I catch this lie, I will end up the
Can you
world's oldest.
imagine making up a lie that lasts that long?
And the payoff, other than the inheritance tax, which I don't know what that was, but the
Serious.
payoff was to skirting, paying a few $1,000s in taxes. But the other payoff was getting this record. You know, that's a dedication to an awesome lie. I think lying is
Yeah.
wrong, but if she pulled it off, good on her. Like, chill out,
Nothing
mathematician.
else. You know what? She went to the grave knowing that she had pulled the wool over all of our eyes. And
Exactly.
she
Good on
died
her.
a happy woman.
And think about this mathematician. He's part of a society of naturalists at a university. He's like, I can literally dedicate my time and education and untold resources to solving any problem facing the world right now, or at least attempting.
Yeah.
I think this world's oldest woman who died in 1997. Something's fishy here. That's what the next several years are going to. Who cares,
He doesn't
man?
want me digging into his life, I bet. Who knows what kind of lies I'm going to unearth in this loser's life.
Exactly. He's a big fun police. If you're a mathematician, something tells me you're a fun police too. Just lay off. The lady was hilarious.
Like, why would a mathematician get involved in it? Isn't this more like ancestry archaeology or anthropology?
Yeah.
I mean, you
It
think
seems
it
like a
would be
23andMe thing. Yeah.
yeah, it seems like
Right.
somebody else would say that's odd. Not a mathematician.
The issue isn't with Jean Clement. I think it's all with this boring Russian mathematician who just like spoilings everyone's fun. It's fun for us to think that a hilarious old woman can live on nothing but bratwurst and bourbon for 122 years and be hilarious up until the end. And you've ruined it for everyone. Thanks, Russian mathematician, for nothing. For shattering dreams. Yeah, I bet you were a lot of fun at the party this year on New Year's. Loser. I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest.
All right. What do you have, Tyler?
All right. Well, as you mentioned earlier, Cameron, you know I'm a fan of the costume vigilante stories.
Right.
You know, I like a story of somebody who takes the law into their own hands to extract the justice that more traditional, some would say boring methods of law enforcement aren't always able to provide for the rest of us. I respect the police, but they can't be everywhere at once, and sometimes it's important. Sometimes responsible citizens, in order to make sure that justice is served, need to bend the red tape a little bit, get out there and get their hands dirty,
and ignore notions like due process. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't need like if you know somebody did it, if you can prove they did it, and if right and wrong is at stake, then there's not always time to wait for the man to show up.
Wait,
do it.
In your day-to-day life, are you like that episode of Andy Griffith where Gomer Pyle, Barney did an illegal U-turn, and Gomer Pyle runs down the street yelling, "Citizens arrest! Citizens arrest!"
I don't see a lot of crime in my day-to-day life. This is one of the flaws of the superhero genres that I'm not there for a lot of like actual law breaking. And
right.
U-turns, no. But if I see a crime happen and I can either call 911 and maybe in 20 minutes some cop shows up and he's like, well, we'll see what we can do, but it's been a while.
I got a question for the cast here, because if it's like somewhat of a victimless crime, like if a guy's at Walmart, you're at Walmart, right? This big corporate conglomerate, they got more money than they know what to do with. And you see someone sneak like a pack of gum in their pocket and they look at you and wink. Are you reporting them, or are you letting them walk out the door?
For sure reporting them.
Really?
Oh, no question.
Tyler.
That would be an opportunity for me to it would depend on the person. It's so situational. Does this person look like they can afford a candy bar, or is this a hungry? Is this like a Dickensian street urchin who this is their only Christmas? So this is all they've got.
No. I have a strong sense.
He winks at you. Are you reporting them or just let it go?
I have a strong justice side.
Me too,
right
Cam.
and wrong. I
am the most recent victim of someone breaking into my Postmates and stealing $400 worth of food or they bought $400 worth of food and I paid for it.
Wow.
And so I'm like, no. We turned them all in. And you know the thing about it, hey, everybody, when you break into someone's Postmates, you know what they have? Your phone number and your home address. Because you have to have food delivered. So I have their phone numbers and their home addresses, and Postmates is going after them.
I will just say this. Everyone on this podcast sounds like a Russian mathematician I know. One of us sounds like a cool old lady who would have gotten away with it. It wasn't for those nosy Russians. Anyway, Tyler, continue.
I'm gonna tell you about a crime, and this is a crime that has a definite victim. This comes to us from Australia, just west of Brisbane, and there was a woman there whose name is Loki Karoy. And apparently there's been a rash of car thefts in Brisbane. And she woke up one morning and after she says a loud bang woke her up, and her car was gone. Her car was missing. So at the beginning, Loki did what any of us would have done. She called the cops. Cops were like, we're on the case. We'll see what we can do. We'll find your car. But here's the thing about Loki, and this is where we get into some of the logistics of superheroing. Is that with great power,
great responsibility. I've learned that.
Loki has great power because she is a former contestant on Australian Ninja Warrior. So she has the skills. What? She has the vigilante skills to traverse rooftops and engage, of course, in hand-to-hand combat. So she gets on social media because the cops are trying. I know that the Australian PD is doing their best, but they can't be everywhere at once. So she gets on social media and she says, has anybody seen her car? She had a Nissan. Has anybody seen her car? She starts getting some pinks. People are coming back to her like, I think I've seen it. Like, it's over here. She starts tracking it down. By that afternoon, she found her car. It was in a parking lot on the other side of town. And she says, and this is her quote. She said, "These people were in my car. I saw damage on my car as well. And I just thought, they're not getting away with it. So I got out and did something about it." 5 minutes later, the police show up and they had to rescue the two teenage assailants. One of them was 15 years old. The other one was 18 years old. Rescue them from a headlock that she had put them both in as punishment for stealing her car. The thieves had to be saved by the police. She turned the tables on them. They ended up being the ones who needed help. And she said, without social media, my car would be a burnout vehicle in a bush somewhere. They're charged. Both of the teens were charged. And, she said, she said, this is another hallmark of a superhero. I'm really a fan of Loki's by this point. This is another hallmark of a superhero is then she turned and she showed some sympathy for these. She says, I can understand where these kids are coming from. I had a rough upbringing, but that's shaped who I am now. I decided when I was their age, I needed to press the reset button on my life. So she took that.
So my option
upbringing.
was, so instead of snapping their necks, I merely left them in a headlock.
She had an origin
That's
story.
right.
She had an origin story. She went through it. She decided to dedicate her life to justice. She's obviously trained a lot. She was able to be a competitor on a very attacking two car thieves isn't the same thing as like having to climb up some sort of like giant ramp or swinging from like the monkey bar situations, or I don't know what they do in Australia in Ninja Warrior. Maybe there's alligators involved. I can imagine it being, there's probably a few more death-defying stunts than we get here in America, but it's still a heartwarming tale of what can happen when one person decides that enough is enough and goes out there to actually take the law into their own hands.
Once again, a harmless, fun joyride by two good-natured, fun happening teens is ruined by some uptight ninja with an axe to grind.
I'm so impressed with this story.
She's a game show competitor. She was a former army recruiter, and she charged these guys cars. She didn't know if they were armed or not. For all she knew, these were they were getting ready to take it down. They were like mob bosses or something. But instead, she bested them.
If you got a chance, you can hang out with someone who's probably going to make you do a grueling workout all day and lecture you about justice. Or two kids that we might go on a little joyride around Australia. Guess which ones I'm picking? You're
doing Thelma and Louise for sure.
Well, you're gonna end up with your head. You're gonna end up with your head shoved between the powerful steel forceps of a woman who could kill you with a simple twist of her. She's the only reason she's not killing you is because she knows where you came from.
Right.
She was there too at one point, and she just needed to be scared into being the person that she is today, the hero that she is today.
Annie, are you really going after your Postmates people?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, the Postmates already refunded it and asked me they refunded me because it was in Miami and it was when I was not in Miami. And so they were like, yep, we can tell that's not you. And do you know what really bothered me? You guys this really got my goat.
Let's hear it.
They changed my profile picture to a slot machine. I was so mad.
What?
I had in the last 6 months,
pretty cool.
I had the same thing happen where I was in, it was in August. I was in New York for Hillsong Conference. I got a call from my banker and they're like, hey, you're overdrawn in your checking account. And I was like, what? Because I had the home renovations going on. I was writing checks to all these contractors. And she said, yeah, you're overdrawn. And we pulled it up and these checks were not in my handwriting. So apparently what happened was I left a checkbook in the armrest of my car in my driveway and it was unlocked and people went in and stole my checkbook and started writing checks to themselves.
Oh,
that's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
They write their name on the check.
That's prison time
and
too.
put it in their bank account.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so.
Oh man.
So my, I had to file a police report, and I thought it would just be a formality. I went online, filled out the form for the police report, so I could get my money reimbursed, right by the bank.
Chandler, did you use Chandler cool printer to march it down to the station?
So I get a call the next day from the detective that was randomly assigned to the police report, and she goes, "Hey, actually, I'm going to go after him." Like, she's like, I thought it would just be like paperwork. You know what I mean? She's like, no, I'm going to go after him. I can track down
that's like
where they deposit the checks.
Yes.
I can get the photos from the surveillance cameras. And I'm going to, let's go. She's like, with your permission. I was like, yeah, go after him. So so a couple of people got prosecuted.
Yeah.
So.
And that's I mean, really, to break into someone's Postmates and
it's just stupid.
I mean, I'm like, you literally put your phone number and your address 3 different times into, and now I have all them. So literally we could for the next 3 weeks for our listener of the week, we're going to call the 3 people who stole food from me because I have their phone numbers.
You did the right thing. You did what you should have done. You went to the proper authorities. But sometimes, again, this isn't bashing cops, but sometimes they're held back by the by the powers that be.
Yeah.
And I think even like a lot of police officers would agree with me that sometimes the best thing to do is to go out there, find the guy who did it, and give him a little good old fashioned justice.
That's what I want to do with those 3 people in Miami, but
Streets.
I decided against it as well. I figured I didn't want to call them because I didn't want them to be able to call me back. I figured if they're criminals, I don't necessarily want them having my phone number.
Yeah, but you have a social
care.
media army, and you probably have people. You could like send out a tweet like, "Hey, how do I get it? All I've got is a phone number. What do I do next?" And I bet there's maybe some people who would come to your aid.
Theft in the digital age is kind of dumb. I mean, like I was similar to you, Annie, like getting their info. I was in New York one time for a conference and had my iPad stolen. And next thing I know, like this person, because it wasn't locked, this person had access to my automatically signed in Twitter, Facebook, Netflix, everything, it's just there. It was pre-password days, and, or the key, whatever, the code and all that. It wasn't locked. And so all of a sudden I had to change all my passwords and everything to my accounts. But I forgot about Netflix, and I logged into Netflix like a few weeks later at my house, and the person had logged in, changed the avatar to their face, to their picture, and changed the name and everything. And we saw that it was in New Jersey and all that. I mean, like I'm sitting there looking at the person who stole my iPad.
Not only that, they've been binge watching The Ranch with Ashton Kutcher. What a lowlife. What a scumbag.
What a lowlife.
Yeah, they probably totally messed up your algorithm of what you were watching. That was just so annoying.
My algorithm still hasn't recovered, but anyway. Digital theft, stupid people. That's the lesson here. All right, Annie, what do you have?
Again, in a way that only could the stars align, because we did not know this. If you put together Jesse's conspiracy theory if you put together Jesse's conspiracy theory of a slice and Huck's Australian themed slice, I bring to you a slice where it has recently been reported that flat earthers have taken their belief system to a new level. Not only are flat earthers convinced the earth is flat, they are now convinced that Australia actually does not exist. And all the people that say they are Australian or live in Australia are hired actors. And actually all the planes that are flying us to Australia, all of the pilots, everybody is in on it. And they all know that they are actually flying you to South America or to islands around that region. But there actually is no Australia, you guys. I hate to tell you, that's the slice I bring today. There actually is no Australia.
I'm pretty familiar with this conspiracy theory, and there are a lot of people who believe it unironically, as they do in the flat Earth.
What would be why would somebody make up a continent? Like, well, they just want you to live in Australia so that.
How do you explain the photographic evidence of its existence?
Same way that you explain the photographic evidence of the Earth's existence, being a globe.
Of being round,
it's a big conspiracy that,
the UK's Flat Earth Conference just happened over 3 days. Over 200 flat Earth theorists were there. They heard 9 speakers, and one of the speakers brought this new science, if you will, we're going to put that in quotes loosely, that Australia is actually just a conspiracy, just a picture. They've put on a picture of a round globe, and neither thing is true.
I recently read a really good
How do you explain Hillsong
piece? Yeah. Holograms. they're all way too good looking and sing way too good down there. It can't be real. Like, wake up, Cameron. Wake up.
Well, I mean, seriously, the thing about it being like South America, or whatever. I mean, you can look at the people who live in South America just from a ethnicity standpoint, and there's no connection to the ethnicity of the Aboriginal people or the people who live in Australia. I mean, there's like that's crazy. Why would people?
Everybody in Australia is a hired actor. Like.
Yes,
we just
that's what they're
find,
claiming.
like, the government, the one world government is finding people. The Illuminati is hiring people across the globe. Like, hey, want to make some quick cash? If anybody asks you, just tell me you're from Australia and talk like this. And that's that. And then step three, profit.
What about the people like our very own Adam Smith, American, who moved there? He's not.
Well,
he's not.
I don't believe
how
Adam
do
lives
you
in
know?
Australia. If that's
How
what
do
you're asking.
you know what you're about to say, Cameron? You're about to say he's not a hired actor. You don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with conspiracies. Once you start believing one of them, all of the rest get more plausible, no matter how implausible they seem.
But it's millions and millions of people. Who's funding buying them all off, and how has not one of them cracked?
Illuminati.
Yeah,
That's how.
I don't know.
You could theoretically just be dropping all of them in like Western Siberia and just let some people think that they are living in Australia when they're actually not. There is no such country.
But I mean but it's just as preposterous as a lot of conspiracy theories. But
That's right.
plausibility isn't. There's, I mean, again, in the most recent, issue of the mag, we had a piece about conspiracy theories, particularly how young Christians are, disproportionately susceptible to subscribe to them.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is when I hear about a lot of these conspiracy theories, I think it's kind of like wacky older people who watch, very fringe media outlets. And statistically, that article I learned in Relevant that young Christians are actually more susceptible to believing conspiracy theories than other demographics.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And,
Good on us.
Yeah.
Good on us.
Yeah.
We're a great people group.
But one of the people, I mean, it was like one of the anecdotes in the story was the guy who was like who stormed Comic Pizza with an assault rifle to break up what he thought was some horrible trafficking ring because of like the whole Pizzagate conspiracy. He was a 20-something Christian who frequently posted about conspiracy theories, but also his faith on social media. Yeah, there's a real insidious side. I mean, some of it's just funny and totally absurd. But, once we talked to a guy in that piece who studies the psychology of these, and there's this inherent sort of confirmation bias that once you believe in one conspiracy, you become inclined to believe in more because it confirms your own biases that you're being lied to by powerful people.
Because if you believe the moon landing was faked, then you can start believing, well, we can't really believe anything that history books tell us.
Exactly. And even Steph Curry recently came out and said he believed, he later walked it back as...
he said he was joking. I mean, he didn't... It wasn't I walked it back like a politician who misspoke. He said it was a joke.
I know, but did you hear the intervw? It didn't sound like
the audio didn't sound like a joke. Yeah. I hope it was, but the audio did not sound.
It sounded like they were all like had to. Like I felt like the joking thing was like a PR move to me, But I want
to take Steph at his word.
Yeah.
It just when it happened, it would have never occurred to me that was a.
Okay, so I didn't hear the source interview. So wow, interesting.
Wow.
Why are that's so weird that like people like think that there's something larger manipulating the social awareness of what is real and what is not real. Like I don't get what they say, the conspiracy theorists, like this Illuminati thing. Like, what's the motivation of the Illuminati and the funding of the Illuminati? What's the purpose in faking a moon landing? I don't get what they like. Why would they think that sort of information needs to be?
That's
contrived?
A mystery to me too.
Honestly, like a lot of the conspiracy theories that involve like this secretive new world order, have some insidious origins and are at the root. A lot of them are anti-Semitic. A lot of it is used to turn people against, what they see as the rich and powerful who control media and the banking system. But basically like the whole kind of premise that any major conspiracy theory relies on is that there are powerful people who want who know that truth is more valuable than anything. And if they can only be the ones who hold truth, then they can manipulate the masses to think whatever they want for their benefit. And so a lot of conspiracy theories operate under this idea that we are like the whole sheeple thing, like we are being guided by a force we don't understand for reasons we don't understand, but they're the ones profiting off of all of it. And, but yeah, obviously it's incredibly convoluted, especially when you believe in a whole continent isn't actually there, you know?
That is just amazing to me.
How do they explain the Outback? I mean, it's just like I've seen pictures.
Like the Outback, meaning like where kangaroos live, or the restaurant that we
the steakhouse
frequent.
I was referring to the actual, geographical
Not the
area
Bloomin'
of the
Onion.
Outback.
You're talking about, okay.
I mean, it doesn't look like any other of the geography in South America. You know, I mean, like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, that's what they're saying is that there's islands and there's places around South America that all the pilots, all of them, have bought in and agree to fly you to places that are actually not Australia, that they're calling Australia.
The greatest one liner I heard about conspiracy theories, because conspiracy theories operate under the thing that so many people have to be in on it and be doing their part and knowing what their part is and can never mess up their part or the whole thing falls apart. It's like anyone who believes in conspiracy theories has never worked in project management, which is like, that's totally true. That's totally true.
I think the current White House is a case in point that it's impossible, because like you have publicly a unified front in the administration. We're all on the same page here. And then there's like all these backdoor leaks and there's all these anonymous sources saying all these other things about what's really going on. You know what I mean? Like if anybody
it's like
in power was trying to control a narrative, it would be this administration wanting to put up a certain front publicly, right? And if they can't even get their own house in order, where there's not other people saying, well, here's what's really going on, there's no way that there's a larger conspiracy that nobody's cracked or nobody's, outed. You know what I mean?
Well, the irony of that is the sitting president is a conspiracy theorist. I mean, he has paid large amount of money to try to prove that Barack Obama wasn't born in the country. He's been a guest on the Alex Jones InfoWar radio shows. Alex Jones is facing prosecution for slander and for endangering the lives of of victims of school shootings, because he says those school shootings never actually happened and the parents are crisis actors. A lot of those parents have to go in hiding. They already lost their children in a school shooting and they have to go into hiding because he's, perpetuating this conspiracy theory that they're actors and it never happened and was all a big thing to try to enact gun control legislation that's never been implemented. And yet like I said, the sitting president will go and be a guest and give his implicit endorsement to someone who says horrible things like that. The whole culture of conspiracy theories is like, a lot of the entry points are funny because it's so absurd. But then when you start digging down, it's like, this is actually concerning, Yeah.
And I think it also kind of robs. I think there's definitely kind of like people who have a lot of power and influence have a vested interest in keeping our eyes off of whatever kind of seedy backdoor deals they might have done to get some of that power and influence. But I think whenever the curtain gets pulled back, it's very boring stuff. They're not. It's tax fraud. They're not. They're not trying to create new countries or fake moon landings. They're just trying to shave a few percentage points off of their next check to Uncle Sam. It seems like that's the sort of stuff that should be concerning and that I wish people would pay more attention to, and that I wish we could close some of the loopholes around that. But it's not nearly as fun as trying to figure out like who actually what actually is going on in Area 51.
Yeah.
Right. But then you watch things like Stranger Things and you're like, is there an upside down? I don't know.
July 4, season 3.
There's not, but that I always am one who loves conspiracy theories.
Okay, but see, so something like that, like an Area 51 or whatever, like a thing or a Stranger Things, an anomaly or a thing happened here. We, the government, don't want to cause panic, so we will contain that information, is different than saying millions and millions of people have been paid to create a fake country. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I mean,
but it's that sliding scale Jesse was talking about, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Exactly.
You believe in Area 51.
Once you believe they faked a school shooting, then how much, it's not that much bigger of a step to say, well, we faked the moon landing, then we faked the shape of the planet, and then we faked the whole country. Yeah, it is a slippery slope. And that's why most people who believe in a conspiracy don't just believe in one. Like, they believe they're happening all the time around us, let's be fair. We are the media, and we're in on it. We're in on it. I mean, to the listeners, they can't trust us either. I've literally read on like in a Facebook comment before, like, oh, Relevant's paid by George. Like, you constantly hear George Soros, like this, this Jewish philanthropist. He's like a Jewish philanthropist who supports mostly liberal causes, but he's like this, kind of boogeyman for people who believe in conspiracies, that he's actually funding it. And so I've seen a conspiracy theory about us that we're funded by George Soros, and in order to
if his check clears, man,
we
can use the. No, I don't know. I don't even know who that is.
This episode brought to you by George Soros.
All of you guys hired to convince me that Relevant's real and it's actually not.
Wake up, Annie.
If you don't ask, then we don't have to lie.
We put Annie. I will say this.
Oh gosh!
Now you're putting the puzzle pieces together, Annie. How much does it make sense that we put all the work and effort into lining up these actual interviews with real people to print in an actual magazine, and we send it to one people? Your life has been a lie.
One person.
How does it feel, Annie?
And the only way we can make it all happen is George Soros is writing our paychecks. Thanks, George.
Okay, well, is Australia real or not? That's the question.
Well, the
question is Joel Houston
real? We
real?
know it's definitely fake. I mean, the people sing too good. They write too catchy of songs. An entire country,
They're
and they
too
came up
cool,
with the Bloomin' Onion.
and they all surf.
Right.
And they all,
Have you ever seen a kangaroo? Think about
That's
that.
true.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, John Pavlovitz joins us.
Wanna walk side by side a while, just a few blocks up 7th Ave. By the time we hit the park, you're gonna be too old to wanna hold my hand. It feels so good, I'll have trouble letting go. Magic is there for us all to feel. Naming it isn't what makes it real. Rushing around for us all to know. Noticing isn't what makes it so.
You're listening to the Avett Brothers. The song is Trouble Letting Go. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Mid with Muchas, featuring Cola Boy. Well, author and pastor John Pavlovitz has gained a name for himself for his outspoken and at times controversial blog, Stuff That Needs to Be Said. He's appeared in everything from Slate and Cosmopolitan to Katy Perry's Twitter feed, as she's a fan of his writing. In his latest book, Hope and Other Superpowers, John looks at ways that Christians from all streams and political convictions can come together through the common ground of the gospel, and why sometimes the people we think are most different than us actually have a lot more in common than we think. Here's part of our conversation with John Pavlovitz.
John, so the book has a really interesting premise where, you use a lot of analogies about superheroes and our culture's fascination with superheroes and some of the values they present. So I wanted you to kind of talk about what's the heart of the book? What's the heart of the message of Hope and Other Superpowers?
Yeah, the heart of the book is, what kind of person does the world need? And we all have a different opinion on what that is. But I think the kind of person the world needs is a story learner. I think the more we get to know people, the less we can sort of caricaturize them, the less we can make them into a cartoon. My journey has been one of growing up with a lot of false stories about people of color, about Muslims, about LGBTQ people. And the more I encountered people and began hearing their stories, I had a professor who called it becoming a student of what you draw. I was an art student, but that works in so many levels to become a student of the people around you. And then you can see the richness and the depth of their experience, and it's much more difficult to make them into a two-dimensional, object.
Yeah. And kind of going along with that superhero metaphor, you talk about Hope and these other characteristics as superpowers. And why do you in addition to kind of like underscoring the metaphor, but why is something like Hope so powerful?
Yeah, for me, hope is that thing that sort of propels you forward into a day that you might not otherwise want to walk into. And the fatigue that I sense in people is sort of that, there seems to be a constant influx of emergencies. And so we wake up in the morning and we check Twitter, or we watch the news, or we walk out into our communities, and we see just, how much is required of us, how much emotional energy, how much compassion is necessary. And I think so what hope does is say, I'm going to trust that I'm going to walk out into the day and live my convictions and put in that time, and that when I get to that place down the road, it's going to be worth it. And so it's an aspirational thing, which is, as a follower of Jesus, I mean, that's the whole thing. You may not see in the middle of your journey what's happening. It may not feel like progress is coming, or that there's fruit fruit happening, but you just keep moving.
It's so hard sometimes. I mean, even like this morning, it's like you said, I woke up, looked at Twitter, and I saw this, this other horrible mass shooting that was trending. And, it's so heartbreaking. It feels so preventable. And, so how can people who are, constantly faced with this onslaught of just all these terrible things that are happening in our world that we want to change, how can they maintain that hope?
Yeah. Part of it, I think, is having a balance of sort of engaging and withdrawing. Right now, I think if you look at this, in the Gospels, there's all these moments where Jesus sort of disappears and he's off to a solitary place to pray. And I think we, in social media culture, we engage and we engage and we engage, and we rarely withdraw to sort of recalibrate and to sort of recenter ourselves and to lean into the things that are important to us. And really to have sort of a normal, everyday, beautiful relational life. I think Jesus does that. And then when he does approach the crowds, he's able to see them with compassion and not contempt. And right now, I think so many of us, we're just stuck in that mode of engaging and being in the fray. And there's a collateral damage to that. So I'm always urging people to be informed and be on social media, find your tribes of affinity and engage with your activism and all the things that matter, but then step away and make sure that you're paying attention to the smaller world that's around you, to your relationships and the people who you know and love and in your community. I think that helps.
On sort of a practical level, when it comes to that, you aren't someone who shies away from topics that can be controversial and polarizing and, irrelevant. We kind of talk a lot about similar things, and it tends to spark these conversations online that sometimes get pretty vitriolic. And what's your strategy in terms of engaging with people who maybe disagree with you online and on social media?
Yeah, I think it's an almost hourly challenge for people who do what I do. It's difficult enough to have a conversation with a person that you have some history with or some knowledge of, and then to have someone just kind of fly into your face on social media. That can be really a difficult thing. And, I'll get it wrong 100 times a day, and you just try to kind of keep going. And I think part of it is in remembering that the person across from you, whether at a table or, online, they believe that they're doing the right thing. That, no one believes that they're being harmful or violent or angry. And so to realize that everyone sort of has the same motivation, and in their, within themselves and in their heart, they think, I'm doing something redemptive. I'm doing something faithful. I'm being a part of goodness. And that's the most important thing to remember. I think that, and not assigning motive to people, not trying to think that we understand why they're saying what they say or why they believe what they believe, but to try to show them maybe the results of, in other words, politically, I may not know why someone voted a certain way, but I can show them the results of their votes either in legislation or in the stories of marginalized people that are being damaged. And so I try not to think that I understand why they do what they do or why they believe what they believe.
The book talks a lot about, different people who are inspiring and kind of their approach to enacting change. Who's someone that really jumped out to you in the writing process that you were excited to kind of highlight their story?
Wow. There were some really great people. One of them is Natalie Weaver, and Natalie is a mom, and she's a mom of a daughter who was born with, tremendous physical disadvantages and nearly died. And she spent those kind of early parts of her journey with her daughter Sophia just trying to keep her healthy, keep her alive, and engaging the healthcare system and all the brokenness there. But what happened in her was, as she did that, she started to realize, I want to fight for my daughter, but there are so many people I'm meeting in this journey that deserve equal representation. So she became an activist and really engaged the healthcare system in ways she would have never dreamed. And I love stories like Natalie's, because I think we all have that self-preservation to care about the people that we love, the people who are close to us. But what we're seeing in America right now, and even in Christianity, is that sort of tribalism that says we're going to take care of our own. I think what we're trying to do now is I'm trying to highlight stories of people who have a counterintuitive sort of compassion for people that they aren't even associated with, they don't even know. So I love her story, because she just found these gifts and these abilities that she never knew she had, and so that was pretty inspiring for me.
How can the church do a better job of following the examples of people like her and kind of break out of the tribalism that it often kind of, distills down to?
I think it comes down a lot right now to church leaders, to ministers and pastors and priests, to actually be brave enough to speak fully authentically about, what they believe Jesus is calling them to do and to be. In my journey, I was in church, a local church pastor now for 23 years, but for much of that, really felt the weight of expectation and job responsibility, and that often softened my sort of stances. And I think right now, if leaders were just explicit in pointing out things in the world that are really anti the heart of Jesus, I think that would free up their congregations a lot more to engage those things. And part of it is to not shy away from opinions that are going to be deemed political, because I think if that's really, if we look at the heart of the gospel, so much of what Jesus did was loaded with political implications, and that didn't stop him from saying those things. So I think the church just needs to be more brave about what they're passionate about.
If someone were to come to you and say, I see what's happening on the way that immigrants are being talked about, or what's happening on the border, or these children separated from their parents, or any number of issues that are going on in culture, and they're like, I have all this outrage, but I just don't know how to channel it, and it's eating me up, because I feel like that's the place where a lot of our readers and a lot of Christians around the country are feeling. How would you say this is how you can effectively channel that?
When I look at in Jesus, you have the image of Jesus as the good shepherd, and I always love that, because they sort of breeze by the fact that in saying that, Jesus is, compassionate caregiver, pastor for people who are hurting and marginalized, and yet saying that image of Jesus as shepherd means to those he looked at as the wolves, he was status quo changer. He was fierce activist. So I think it's about balance. It's about saying, okay, this issue, I can express this issue in social media posts, or I can, fight legislation, but then I have to also give time to just simply being with people who are under duress and caring for them. And so it's that kind of balance again between the fight and engaging that fight, and then caring for people who are being brutalized in the fight. So there's a lot that we can do. I think, I always tell people, your daily activism doesn't have to look like mine. You don't have to be a jerk blogger. You don't have to be a subversive pastor. You can have a form of sort of everyday activism that reflects your personality style and your individual convictions. So it's just finding those small spaces on social media and in your local community or in your church, and to just feel like I'm making some sort of an effort. And that's really all any of us can do. It's about saving the small world. I always say that. It's just whatever's in front of you, try to impact it.
That was John Pavlovitz. Make sure to check out his new book, Hope and Other Superpowers. It's out now.
Back on James had my night. We was actually was late. Triple joy in my ride. Never need a second text. Got a whole film on roll. We're gonna need a second date. Just give me them cheat codes.
You're listening to The Trip. There's no vowel though, it's TRP. And the song is Dragons in the MoMA. All right, it's time for the triumphant return-ish edition of...
You listen to the show and it's time to get to know you. It's the listener of the week.
All right, well, our listener of the week, our first one of 2019 is Megan Lyle. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Hi.
Well, don't sound too excited.
Wow. You sound like when the dad like introduces his big plan for the summer vacation, and you're like, "Oh, sounds fun. Ooh, Miami."
You know what that hi was to me? It was when you meant to call, like you intended to call like Matt in your phone, and you accidentally called Mom, and like your mom answers, and you're like, "Hi." I like to play it off.
I'm busy, Mom.
We caught her off guard. Megan, where are you calling us from, or where are you?
Tallahassee, Florida, in my house.
Tallahassee, Florida. Little behind the scenes. We met Megan. She attended the Relevant Podcast Christmas Spectacular. She and her friend drove down from Tallahassee. And before she left, she pulled me aside and she said, I have tried to be listener of the week like 4 times. And one time you guys called me and I just missed the call. And I said, well, you got to hit us up again and remind me that we talked. And sure enough, she did. And look at this, full circle. She followed through. She's our listener.
Here we are.
Yes, dreams do come true.
This sounds like,
right?
Megan, I'm listening to, it sounds like the thrill of a lifetime for you. Second only to seeing us in person.
I got to keep cool inside. I'm dying. I'm outside. I'm so chill.
Are you at work right now?
No, the government shut down. So I am at home making some bread, cleaning my house.
What branch, what part of the federal government do you work for, Megan?
The Department of the Interior, National Park Service.
Are you making bread because that's all you have to live on? Because
that's
you have
literally all I have to live on.
Oh no!
Do you need something?
No, it's okay. I have like $200 in savings. That should.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe for Megan. That's why she's on the show.
That's right.
Holy cow!
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear about that, but that's obviously a very kind of a I'm sure it's no fun to be like out of work and not sure when you're going to be going back.
It's my first one. My other coworkers, they've been through so many. They're just like, just hold tight. It shouldn't last that long, but we'll see.
Wow.
Megan, I have a question. Do you have a sweet park ranger's uniform and hat?
No, but my roommate does. She actually was a park ranger. I work in a lab behind the scenes, so I only get a cool t-shirt that has a polo and stuff. But one day I'm hoping to get the uniform. I have to sort of ascend to that role.
What do you do? What kind of lab work does being part of the Department of the Interior require?
Or can you even tell us?
Yeah, in like the 30s and 40s, the federal government funded a bunch of archaeology projects as part of the Great Depression. And so those WPA projects, we have like 9 million artifacts in our lab from. It's all archaeology related. That's what my specialty is. And so I process and catalog all those artifacts, identify the objects from. I'm working on Okmulgee National Monument, so it's like the stuff from Native Americans that lived here, thousands of years ago, up till like around the time of contact with the Europeans.
Wow.
Okay, that's very cool.
Word.
That's a pretty sweet job.
I do have a quick question, Megan. I feel like you might be the right one to know this as you work for national parks and such. Is Australia real?
Oh, yeah. My roommate is actually half Australian. So unless she's been lying to me and her trip next week or whatever, it's going to be.
When you hear this podcast, you'll understand why we asked that question. Because they're all a bunch of liars. That's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
All right. So here's a few of the listener of the week, some of the facts she sent us. So if you're a new listener, what we do is from time to time, we ask you guys to tell us on Twitter a few interesting facts about yourself. And if somebody catches our eye, we invite you on the show. Several of Megan's facts caught our eye. Number 1, I found out the hard way you can't bring your own mermaid tail to Weeki Wachee Springs. Do tell.
Yeah. Okay. So you remember how you guys were talking about the mermaid tail? So I made one. Like my dream, my entire life was to be a mermaid. And so I saw this video when I was like 11. Wow. And so I saved up money. Finally in college, I made the tail. And on spring break, I went home and I was like, Dad, can we go to the spring? I want to wear it. I'm going to try it out in the spring water. It's going to be super cool. And we get there and there's this huge sign that says you cannot have your own mermaid tail in the water. And I was like, what?
That's a very odd requirement. That's a
weird rule.
Well, when people outside of Florida maybe don't know, one of the old timey tourist attractions in Florida, pre-theme parks back in the 50s, was this big natural springs, Weeki Wachee Springs. And they did an underwater show where they have mermaids. And so now they have an underwater theater. You can still go today. It's an old kind of campy tradition. And they have these weeky-watchy mermaids that you can watch. And they have like air tubes, and they do all these like shows under the water. Okay. So so people like her, like Megan, come as mermaid fans, and enough to the point that they had to make a sign. That's funny.
I think I speak for Megan on this one as an employee of our federal government.
Yeah.
We don't need Uncle Sam telling us where and where we can't wear our own mermaid tails. Am I right there?
You are correct.
Fact number 2, I made the heir to the Dinosaur World theme park cry.
Yeah, so he's actually really nice. His name is Marcus. And so their family is actually from Sweden. And I met him when I was at my first archaeological field school. And he's super nice. And so we're hanging out at night and we're making a cake for the friend of ours that's having a birthday while we're at this field school. We're like, every day we're digging. He's trying to get experience, kind of like see how like the field of paleontology would work if he was going to go into it. Because his dad, is really into making these dinosaurs out there, Dinosaur World. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Your family, you guys sound really nice. And he's like, yeah, actually, I really miss them right now. I haven't seen them in a while. And he starts to cry. And I'm like, oh, I'm like so sorry that I was just asking you about your family. And he just starts crying in the middle of the kitchen.
Did you slowly back out of the room?
Oh, bless him.
No, I was just like, let's start icing the cake. I guess hopefully you'll see them soon. The field school's only going to last 3 more weeks.
So when I'm catching a pattern here, when you're going through an emotionally hard time, you bake.
Oh yeah, I bake like crazy. My roommate loves it.
Fact number 3, my mom tried to set me up in an arranged marriage.
Yep. So my mom has this coworker, and he's from Pakistan, and so he has his parents set him up in an arranged marriage. He doesn't feel it. He's like, I don't want this. I've been in America my whole life, and I feel like I'm an American, and I don't really feel like I should be in an arranged marriage. And my mom was like, okay, listen, I have this 20-year-old daughter. This is back when I was 20, and she's American. And how about we set you guys up in a fake marriage? Because that way, your family will be like, oh, he's a divorcee. He can't get married to another girl from Pakistan because he married an American girl. And so she comes to me and she's like, here's the plan, Megan. You're going to be in an arranged marriage, and it'll be fine. It'll be fake because you'll get this guy out of his arranged marriage. And I was like, no, what? Mom, why are you serious about this?
This is insane.
That's insane.
He should talk to his parents and say, I don't want to do this. Not come up with another fake arranged marriage to get him out of his first one. That doesn't make sense.
Hey, listen, it sounds like the plot to a zany new Netflix called movie, rom-com called The Rearranged Marriage. And then, the irony is, after the fake ceremony, you guys actually fall in love.
Yeah, that's right.
I actually do like that, Jesse. That's pretty smart.
Good. Make a note, Chandler. Make a note. Mark this. I got to work on a little screenplay. I got to work on an elevator pitch for this one. Yeah.
I think he's actually getting his doctorate degree, so that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
All right. Last fact. Here we go. I accidentally attended a Tabernacle of Hedonism meeting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So I went to school at UF, and in downtown Gainesville, there's this place called Ma's Coffee Shop. And I just stumbled there with my friend who likes to kind of go explore downtown. And when you go through, there's actually a bookcase. And when you open the bookcase, you go through this secret passageway, and there's a sidecar bar. And so we're like, oh, there's this cool bar. Let's check it out. And we get our drinks and we sit down and we look over, and there's a camera set up, and we're like, what? And there was some people, it was a Tuesday night, and this guy gets on this small stage, and he's like, hello, welcome to the Tabernacle of Hedonism. And I'm Reverend whatever. This is Reverend Angel Dust. And we're going to start filming our show this week. And I was like,
Reverend Angel Dust.
And we were too afraid and nervous to get up and leave in the middle of the broadcast, because the camera was kind of
So you stuck it out.
Was it kind of cool?
The entire time.
Was it kind of cool?
It was kind of weird. It was kind of a lot of rambles of drunk people. But I'm sure you can find it on YouTube.
Jesse, just all you need to know is she just started baking. Just immediately started frosting a cake.
She started nervously baking again.
with whatever tools were readily at hand.
That's funny. Well, Megan, thank you for coming to our live Christmas spectacular. It was really nice meeting you, and I'm really glad we finally worked it out so you can be our listener of the week. You have very interesting facts. I mean,
Thanks.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, you're an archaeologist.
Good luck with your job. Hope you get back to work soon.
And I will say this: if you come to any more of our live events, please bring freshly baked goods. That would be
for sure.
Delightful.
William.
I will.
If you can figure out a gluten-free bread, that's my story. So bring that along too. It's a little challenge for our next live one.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if you want to be a listener of the week on a future episode, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and send us a few interesting facts about yourself. Here's a little clue. They should make for good stories. You know, like, don't be like, I have a long toe. Like there's no story there.
Or there could be a story there.
And if you have any toe stories, keep them to yourself.
I will take a toe story. If it's an excessively long toe, Annie, I will take the story.
I take it back. If you have a really, really, really long toe and keep tripping on it, that type of thing.
How about this? How about this?
Gross, Cameron, ew.
Annie, all right, happy medium. If you have a really, really long toe that you weren't born with, that's the story. I gotta hear it.
Okay. I'll give you that.
All right, hit us up and we'll get you on a future show. Well, hey, many thanks to John Pavlovitz for joining us. His new book, Hope and Other Superpowers, is out now. You should go check it out. And also, if you got a little Christmas cash burning a hole in your pocket, head on over to the Relevant store. There's some new podcast gear and merch available for the new year. Go check it out at store.relevantmagazine.com. All right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
And I'm Annie F. Downs.
We will see you on Friday. Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
An entire country, and they came up with the bloomin' onion.
Relevant Podcast Network.
What's better than ridiculously soft bedding from Sheik's? Ridiculously soft bedding with ridiculously big Black Friday savings. Right now at Sheik's.com, save 30 to 75% site-wide. Take 40% off our top-rated sheets and sleepwear. 50% off all pillows and the Midnight Label collection, and a huge 75% off final sale and our Arctic Air Max Diamond collection. Softer sleep, lower prices. And it all comes with free ground shipping and a 60-night risk-free guarantee. Don't sleep on these savings. Shop the Sheik's Black Friday sale now at Sheik's.com.